We have a lot of negative self-talk, and that's natural. Social media, if we've not done it before, that's the unknown, it's scary. We just have to tell ourselves that it's normal to have these feelings.
Practice makes perfect. Those experts weren't born just amazing at TikTok or Instagram. Even by posting for the first time, you're probably still putting yourself out there 80% ahead of your competitors, because there's so many more people that aren't posting content still.
Play your favourite song, sing to it, see how you feel afterwards. You'll feel a lot more comfortable and in a better headspace to do that bit of social media content.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the Video Marketing Toolkit, the podcast where I speak to industry experts and business owners about their lives and careers. We find tangible tips and advice so you can go home and use them in your own business.
Produced by Video Formula.
My name is Dan, I'm the host of the Video Marketing Toolkit, and I'm a video and marketing consultant. I help businesses get in front of the camera for the first time and teach them the best ways to use video in their marketing and media mix. Today I have an amazing guest. He started out in the IT industry and now he's doing something completely different. He's a hypnotherapist and a mindset coach. But you won't find him on stage putting you under in front of a studio audience. Welcome to the studio, Tom Price. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing very well. That was a brilliant introduction.
Well, thanks so much for coming on and talking with me. I'm excited today to hear your story, because I've met you, a few times now actually over this year. Really, I think I met you first at Ashby Connect, right? And we've spoken a few times there. And then you were coming along to the net running. But I feel like I see you every week now, which is great.
It's a bit too much. Don't we? But that's right. Yeah, one of the first networking events I went to was Ashby Connect.
Oh, that was the first one?
Yeah, in September. So we did a little video interview there, and that was one of the first events I went to.
And so for anyone at home who doesn't know who you are, would you like to take the moment just to introduce yourself about who you are and what it is that you do?
Yep, so I'm Tom, and I'm a hypnotherapist and mindset coach. So I've got my own hypnotherapy practice called Mindstar. Can we get that on camera?
Get the logo, blow it up there, Dan, in the edit.
You can order these t-shirts online, different colours. Got a hoodie as well over there, so not only joking. But yeah, so I run my own hypnotherapy practice. So
brilliant.
I essentially help you burn out professionally, just going home, can't switch off, can't enjoy time with family, constantly thinking about work, and it just feels like work is running their life.
Brilliant. And I can already tell there's plenty of stuff that I'm going to take away from this conversation. So I'm sure there's people at home that can take away from that as well. But just before we get into that, I really want to hear about your story and your journey, because you weren't always doing this, were you?
I wasn't always doing this now. So I've had quite an interesting journey. That's right. So I had a 20-year career in IT before I transitioned across to hypnotherapy and doing what I'm doing now. That's crazy.
So what kind of stuff were you doing in IT before?
I was a network architect, so I was the technical lead. I was a technical lead on bids and tenders within the networking field. So imagine firewalls, network switches, wireless. So I was part of the sales function as well. So it's very fast paced.
Awesome.
Doing everything we can to get a deal over the line. So it's at times 100 miles per hour, sometimes faster. 7 days a week until we got that deal done.
And I work with quite closely a client who works with a lot with bids and tenders. She's a bids writer, and just hearing what she sort of goes through when a bid's due at this point, we've got to get everything over the line for here. It's pressure. So I can imagine that you going through that, you probably took a lot of your takeaways from learning that into your business now, right? A lot of transferable skills as well.
Exactly that, yeah. So what I'm doing now is solution focus, and that's essentially what I was doing working in IT. Customer comes with a problem, or wants a bit of a strategic approach, and I was there to help shape that direction and provide the solution. But even the clients I'm working with now, I went through a lot of the same experiences that my clients went through. So I've been able to take loads of skills I learned within my 20 years in IT and apply them in my role now.
Brilliant. And so how long have you been doing this current role for?
Wow, only not very long. So I started practicing only February last year, so 12 months ago. I enrolled on a hypnotherapy diploma, so it's 10 months, and I qualified in December. But I actually went full-time in September, so literally took the plunge, resigned from my IT role, and went full-time.
Just full pelt straight into it.
Full pelt. It was one of them, wasn't it? I was going to transition and slowly build up my client base, which I did a little bit when I was working alongside or doing hypnotherapy part-time during weekends and evenings. But it got to the point where in my IT role where I literally just wasn't getting any enjoyment whatsoever from the role, and I was getting really good results from the clients I was working with, making massive changes to their lives. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it now. Circumstances were there for me to make that change.
Yeah. I think
yeah.
you've just got to, haven't you? Not only for the business's sake and just put your whole heart into it rather than sort of trying to juggle all those different hats. But if you're at the end of the day getting so much satisfaction seeing those genuine changes, right, you may as well just go for it. Just like throw you all into it.
Exactly that, isn't it? I mean, we only live once, don't we? But I don't want to say to everybody out there, quit your job, follow your dreams. Make sure you've got a bit of a plan in place.
Yeah.
Maybe you are financially secure, but even for me, it was a big jump, and I'm still learning along the way now, and I will be probably for the next 2-3 years. But it's an exciting journey.
No, definitely. And I think just from knowing you for a few months now, speaking to you quite regularly, seeing your content online, you wouldn't have thought you've only just started into this. Like the stuff that you're putting out there and the way that you articulate yourself, you seem very experienced, which is amazing, really. Like whenever I speak to you, I feel like I'm in trusted hands, which I think is great considering you've only been doing it for like a short space of time, right? Which is amazing.
Thank you very much, Dan.
No worries.
That's a big compliment. But now, I mean, even the work I'm doing now, a lot of it is around our mental well-being, our self-care, and I've always been very much into that myself. I've always looked after myself mentally, physically, and I've always been interested in like psychology, and that was something actually I was going to look at doing before I went into hypnotherapy. I was delving into the psychology route, potentially going and doing the degree, but that would have took 20 years. So I decided
am I going back to school for 20 years?
I thought, you know what, and cost a lot of that as well. So, appreciate that.
No, I think you definitely made the best decision. Take me back though for a second. Take me back to like that moment where you maybe weren't getting satisfaction from your job role, but you didn't quite know what to do yet. What were you thinking? What were you exploring down that avenue?
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. So when I first got into IT, I was working as a help desk engineer. So I was going out fixing laptops, fixing PCs, printers, replacing monitors, keyboards, and that was, for me at the time, got a lot of enjoyment from that, especially rebuilding PCs where you're taking them apart, fixing components. So that was really, really great. But I think just over time, and it happens, with many people in their different fields, you get promoted, you move into more senior positions, and a lot of the time you lose the love or the passion for what you went into that field for is no longer there, and that did happen with me. There was some roles which I moved into and I was working with great teams. So I was a network engineer for a number of years. So I was still out on the field, I was still very much hands-on and worked with great colleagues. But it was when I moved more into the network architect role, where I was more strategic, I was less hands-on. It was more about design and helping shape clients' future and helping them shape their vision. I lost that love for the role, being part of that sales function. It was. I still enjoy that face-to-face communication, and that's what I enjoy now. Even what we're doing now, having a chat and doing all this, that was still great. But just being part of that sales function and how it operates generally across sales, where it is very much 110 miles per hour all the time.
Go.
Yeah, and I think that for me, so that's when I started to explore, that this really doesn't align from what I want out of life. It's I don't really get an enjoyment from it, and when you are working, you're spending most of your time in your job, then you need something that does align with your values and you do get enjoyment from. So that's when I started to explore different areas.
And that's when you was kind of like, do I want to go down the psychology route or like the hypnotherapy route and things like that?
Absolutely, yeah. Initially I was thinking, do you know what, shall I just stay in the field and do sort of the sideward step and move, or potentially just move back more into a hands-on role, become an engineer again. But I was really just interested in psychology and I was reading so many books, and I just felt that's where my passion was, and had some really interesting conversations with people that had trodden a similar path to me, actually. there's one chap, he worked in IT sales for a number of years. He was a bit older than me, late 20s. Yeah, a little bit older than me. And he experienced similar experiences what I had, he lost the love for the role. And he went into hypnotherapy. So I had a really good conversation with him, and some of the results he was getting with his clients was just like mind-blowing. And I thought, you know what, this aligns with psychology, because a lot of work I'm doing now is around the brain and neuroscience and how it affects the body and our nervous system. And I thought, this is amazing. So yeah, that's
great that you had someone there to tutor you almost, to throw ideas off straight away. Because I imagine some people, they might be stuck at a bit of a crossroads and be like, I don't even know how to talk to. Like, who can I go through, that's in my head in this?
Absolutely, that's right. I think for me, I just took up on myself, and I thought, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I need to make sure this is the right decision. And so I wasn't afraid to I was messaging people on LinkedIn and just emailing people and see local therapists and just reaching out to them and just asking them, do you have time for a quick chat? I'm potentially going to study hypnotherapy. So there was probably 3 hypnotherapists or 4 actually that I reached out to and had a good chat with.
That's awesome, because that's already showing as well, sort of foreshadowing, if you like, for starting your own business and things like that. You're taking the matter into your own hands and going out and doing that research, because I bet 50% of the people would have just sort of sat on it and not, been scared of the thought and not been proactive with it, where you've actually gone out there and been like, do you know what, I'm going to find some people, I'm going to connect with people and ask them what it's like, which I think, that's great.
Yeah. So there's actually a few of the people who I studied with on the diploma, on the hypnotherapy diploma, they hadn't really reached out and spoken to anybody. And the course who we studied with, really good, really recommend them. I won't say the name, but really great. I think they did sort of sell it that if you do this course, you will have a new career, clients will be knocking at your door and all this. And I had that conversation with a few therapists and said, that's definitely not the case. You have to market yourself.
That's just the beginning almost of there.
It's getting the qualification. It's like anything, isn't it? Yeah, it's building your business is a completely different skill.
Right, the real work starts probably. Actually,
if I probably knew that now, I probably wouldn't have made it. No, it was a great decision. But
of just following into that, really. So looking 12, 16, 24 months down the line, do you think it was the right decision? Are you happy with your decision, or how are you feeling a little bit later on?
Well, right now I'm feeling great. I think this is the right decision, absolutely, because I'm enjoying every aspect of the role at the minute. So you mentioned there about building the business. I'm not an expert at marketing, at social media. And with social media, I must admit, I had loads of reservations about that, really. I thought, you know what, do I want to market my business on social media? Because, and we might talk about this later, that fear of people judging me, that there's other therapists out there. Is anybody going to listen to my message that I'm putting out there when there's a raft of more experienced therapists out there that have probably got a better message? So I had all these thoughts around that. Sorry, what's the question?
I was fixed on. I think what you were saying was great. As a breaking the fourth wall, I think that was good, because that was perfect to segment into what we're going to talk about next, which I think is spot on. But the question was, how are you feeling 24 months that sort of down the line? Was it the right decision? But defo, the way you were going was perfect, because that can segue into what we're going to do next.
So I think it's definitely been the right decision. I say just building your business, that has been tough, but I keep flipping it on its head that it's exciting. It's new and it's exciting, and I'm enjoying that. And I'm getting great results from my clients again. So again, I'm getting loads of enjoyment and satisfaction. And that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted from a job. I'm no longer having those Sunday scaries. I think I've done a video on that on Instagram, so check it out. I don't have that anymore. Every day is pretty much a normal day for me now, which is great.
That was it for me, the Sunday scaries. Because I had my business and then lost it during COVID, and then made it again because I was having the Sunday scaries every single weekend, every single Sunday. And I was like, this can't be it in this cycle that I'm going through. This can't be a cycle of Monday to Friday working, getting drunk over the weekend, and then Sunday having the Sunday scaries and rinse and repeating it all over again, because that's what I was doing. I couldn't do it.
And everybody does it though, don't they, with the Sunday scaries and by going out on the weekend, having a few beers, getting drunk,
trying to forget the previous week, basically.
And it makes our anxiety worse. And Sunday's even worse because we're having anxious thoughts about what we did when we got drunk, and we know alcohol isn't great for us. We're recovering from that, so it just makes it worse, doesn't it?
It is a constant cycle. So you mentioned about your Instagram and putting some videos out there. I've been checking a few of those videos out. You've actually, in what I think is the golden thing to do when you're sort of starting out a business, documenting your journey, throwing yourself full force into being visible into your business. How have you been finding posting on Instagram so far?
Now, if you're asking me now, I'm enjoying it now. So I actually look forward to creating my social media content. But if I went back to July, when I probably properly started posting, I'd admit it, I was dreading it. Because again, those fears that everybody has that of being judged, that again, there's all of the therapists out there. Are they going to judge my work? And so there's all those natural fears we have. Is anybody going to watch the videos? Am I going to get 0 views? Again, all these metrics that don't really matter or shouldn't really matter. But I was having those thoughts. But even just, nobody's a natural on camera, are they? I was picking up my phone and
you've got to start somewhere. You just got to do it.
Yeah. And this is the thing, exactly that. And the more you do it, the better you become. You make mistakes, you learn from mistakes. The better you become, you get more confident, then you stop having those thoughts. So it's just it's a bit of a cycle, isn't it? You just have to go through and go through that cycle and break that barrier.
And it's just practice. Practice makes perfect. Those experts weren't born just amazing at TikTok or Instagram. So, and I think I see this all the time in different industries. People, obviously, if they're not visible in their business, there's reasons that they're scared to put themselves out there, or it's very much like, why should I start making content when XYZ people are already out there doing it? Surely they go and watch them. But, people, there's so much that goes out there nowadays, but even by posting for the first time, you're probably still putting yourself out there 80% ahead of your competitors, because there's so many more people that aren't posting content still. Like, there's still so much room to be out there and to be visible. And so the value that I want to speak to you about today, and hopefully you can help me out and help the people at home, is how do we overcome those fears to be visible in our business, and how do we overcome those fears that we have about business as well?
That is a really good question. So
that's the big bum like the big title moment.
So we touch upon it a little bit, haven't we? I think we have a lot of negative self-talk, and that's natural. When it's something like the unknown, our brain doesn't like that. So social media, if we've not done it before, that's the unknown. It's scary. Our brain's telling us that this is danger. You need to be worried about that. We need to make sure that that it's not a big scary animal, whatever it might be, that it is safe. So I think we just have to tell ourselves that it's normal to have these feelings. It's normal to have these feelings, and just to be authentic to ourselves. You mentioned earlier, putting that message out there, someone's going to resonate with that message. But also that message that we're putting out there, it might not resonate with everybody. You're not going to hit we're not going to hit everybody out there, and that's only natural. We can't please everybody, but there's going to be somebody out there that you're going to have that connection with. So I'll just probably say what we do have to is just believe in ourselves that we're going to be able to make a connection and help someone. So rather than having those thoughts that, should I be putting this video out because there's all loads of people in my field that are doing exactly the same, just tell yourself that there's somebody out there that I can help. Somebody out there is going to benefit from this video.
Turn it into a proactive.
So exactly that. So instead of introspectively thinking, which causes all those negative thoughts and can cause us to freeze up on camera and prevent us from doing it, just flip the script and think, right, okay, I'm going to record this video. This is going to benefit maybe one person out there or 10 people out there. How's it going to benefit them? And we flip the script so it takes away that negative self-talk, and then we're talking more about the outcome and who we're going to help.
I think that's actually a brilliant way of putting it. And I think it's a way that is often overlooked, or a technique that is overlooked, because you are just flip it on its head. You're just changing the way you think, which in a way, when you say it, is one thing, but then doing it is very much another thing, because it sounds very simple to say, but then, maybe you like, and in a sense it is quite simple to do as well, but it's about thinking about how you actually do that and putting it into action.
This is it. Yeah, that's it. And I think a lot of this, it requires repetition, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
repetition. But I think what we can start to recognise is when we're having this negative self-talk, we can recognise that we're having it. And another technique is just to write that, whatever it is, that thought, just write it down, acknowledge it, get it on a piece of paper. So if you are recording something for social media and you're struggling to record it because you're scared that somebody might, judge you for whatever reason, then just write it down. How are you feeling? I'm feeling really bad about this because I'm not scared. I'm afraid what people might say. And that just externalises that thought. It gets it out of your brain.
It's gone there.
You're gone, yeah, and your brain thinks, do you know what? Oh, I recognise that now. I know what that thought is. Makes you feel a little bit more safe and just will help you then to crack on and do that.
Just get it done.
Get it done. Yeah, do you know what? Just get it. But that's the thing, isn't it? Again, it's only natural when you're doing something for the first time, you're going to have those nerves.
Well, I speak to people all the time, right, who create video for the first time. And I was recording a podcast today. I was a first-time guest, right, and I'm in front of the camera all the time. I'm always working with people, and I was still a little bit nervous for being this guest on the podcast, right, because it was the first thing I've ever done it. And it always comes back to those sort of like root core reasons of any kind of visibility, I find. I was thinking like, what are other people going to say? Am I going to say something wrong? What are they going to say? It's all like the what ifs and ifs and buts and things like that. So I guess fundamentally it always boils down to them. And it's like you say, it's just trivializing it in that maybe it doesn't really matter about all of those things. I'm just telling myself that, so I need to flip it on his head. But then when you look to the more technical side of things of social media and putting content out there, there's so much short form content and videos that go out there nowadays that if someone is viewing a piece of content and judging you, they've probably forgot about it in about 2 seconds because it's moving so quick. Like,
that's right.
In a way, it's like you think that you're putting yourself out there in front of all these people, but in reality, humble yourself a little bit. You're actually probably not putting it out there in front of many people.
And that's right, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I look at my content now, so I've got quite a few followers now.
Yeah,
I've got quite a few followers now. But yes, I've got a few followers now. But typically, 10% of my followers will probably see one of my stories.
And that's
so
it.
Again, and that's my followers.
And there is a lot of people out there that your followers are going to see you amongst other people at the same time. So although you may be putting yourself out on this stage, you're actually joining a stage full of other creators that are all there at once.
Yeah.
And I guess using different tools to think about it in these ways, it just, like you say, it helps trivialize it, right? Getting it down and making it more manageable.
That's it. And I think we have these thoughts, don't we? This negative self-talk of you worrying what people might say, will they judge this bit of content, put a negative comment on there? But people aren't going to be bothered, are they? Most people are not going to be bothered. They're putting their own content out there. They're worried about their own content.
That's it, really.
So we just build this up that everybody's going to be looking at our content when...
Probably the most you're either going to get is a like or a... when you do that little exhale out your nose when you're on your own watching TikTok, you find something funny.
Yeah.
Like that's about it, right? That's probably all you're going to get from it. But it is interesting. So I think there's some really great points there. And I think another angle that I wanted to address on is that why do people almost feel more threatened to communicate online than if they were doing it face to face? Because sometimes I've had people where they're great public speakers in front of a room full of people, but as soon as the camera's put on them and they know it's going online, they start freezing up. So I wondered if you could share some insight there.
Absolutely, definitely. That's really interesting, isn't it? And that's something actually I've experienced myself as well. But I think it's face to face, like we're having this conversation now. Me, myself, I find that a lot easier than posting content online because we're having a chat and I can see you smiling and, making you laugh sometimes, hopefully. And you're getting that sort of constant feedback, aren't you? And it makes you feel safe. It makes you feel good. I can see you. We're having a good conversation. So,
and it's two-way as well, I guess, rather than being like one way and just like directing into this mythical, horrible audience that you've kind of made in your head.
Exactly that, yeah. Exactly. And that's it, isn't it? Whereas, posting online, you're having trouble creating the content, then you've got the content, and you're ready to post it online, and you build it up that this big, horrible monster, the unknown again. How's my content going to be received? So I think, again, it's that the unknown again, isn't it? Again, our brain doesn't like the unknown. It's trying to keep us safe. Whereas face-to-face, we're getting this constant feedback and it feels good
It's
and
the flow,
I'm calm, and it just calms my nervous system.
I guess it is a whole different way of communication, really. How does maybe just kind of like imposter syndrome and stuff come into it when people are posting online, but they feel that the content they're not putting out there isn't actually giving people the value?
That is a really, really good question. So, I mean, imposter syndrome, again, it's another form of anxiety, isn't it? So, and I see this a lot with my clients, and especially in the world we're living in now, where we're constantly stimulated, we're being overwhelmed outside of work and in work. When we've got high levels of stress, that's when anxiety comes in, and that's when it causes us to overthink, causes us to imagine those worst case scenarios, and it causes us to self-doubt, which, is imposter syndrome. For a lot of my clients who do have imposter syndrome, and especially what we've been talking about, having that block of putting out social media content, how do you get around that sort of in the moment? And there's techniques long-term that we can do to implement to build up confidence, and that can be done with repetition of doing the content, because that builds confidence and, that makes you better at content and builds your confidence. But one of the things I tell my clients to do, and I use this myself as well, if I'm potentially speaking at an event, or if I just feel I've got a little bit of nerves. You might think I'm mad here, but it's all backed by neuroscience. Play your favourites.
The fact that you have to do that as a disclaimer before, now I'm really intrigued.
So, what you can do, and you can try this yourself, Dan. Play your favourite song. Try and go for an upbeat song, not like a really dreary, love song,
like
whatever.
James Blunt or something like that.
Do you know what? I mean, do that. Mate. You're beautiful. That might work, but play it, a little bit upbeat. Sing to it. But when you're singing, go for it. And I mean, really go for it. Like, really sing. Okay. Maybe do 1, 2, 3 songs. See how you feel afterwards. And I can guarantee you'll feel euphoric. You'll feel relaxed. You'll feel a lot more comfortable and in a better headspace to do that bit of social media content. So the neuroscience behind it is when we do that, when we sing out loud and really go for it, release endorphins into the body. And endorphins are our natural de-stressor. So it's that brain chemical that helps us to relax and helps to de-stress us.
That's crazy, because you've actually blown my mind with that, because I'm a really big car singer, right? And I'm always singing in the car, whether on my own or with my girlfriend, like we're singing. And sometimes I'll be like driving from a shoot or from a meeting, and I'll just be like, oh, you're really stressed out, Dan. Like, why am I so like just uptight? I can tell that I'm dipping into like that. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. And then sometimes I'll be like, you've not had a sing in a while. Like, you've not had a sing song in a while. And then so the rest of the journey, I'll be like banging on tunes and actually singing. I feel so much better afterwards.
And it works, doesn't it?
So yeah, but I've never really put 2 and 2 together. That was like a genuine technique. I've just thought
absolutely.
It was just like a me thing sort of thing. But that's actually so interesting.
Yeah.
So what's your go-to song then?
Shall I take the mic now?
We're going to do it live. No, I'll do it. I won't make you do that.
I'm not singing, I'll go for it. One of my go-to, if I'm being serious, I will play Lucky Man by The Verve. I can do a rendition if you want, but I'll leave it for now.
Maybe we could patch that in the...
a common one is You're the Best, Karate Kid. Okay. You're the best around. That's one. Yeah. So if you just blast out the chorus to that, I can guarantee you that'll shift your mindset and it'll just help you to relax, because you release those endorphins, those brain chemicals that help you to relax and de-stress you.
No, you're so right. I've never really even thought of that, because like for me, it's like Lord. I'm obsessed with Lord, so it's like singing a few Lord songs, or some like old school Kanye West that brings me back to when I was a kid and like as a teenager. But I've never thought of using it as like an actual technique in your life. But I guess it's still just like finding these little techniques that make you happy and just utilising them, right? Like it sounds like a bit more aggressive, but weaponising them in a way like in yourself to make them like to use them, and like, oh, that's brilliant. Absolutely, I love that. I really do love that.
Yeah, and it's just something else you can just have in your toolkit that you can use. Obviously, you probably can't use it in every situation, but when you're at home and you are, for example, recording content for social media, then it's a great way to
Hype
shift your
yourself
mindset.
up.
Yeah.
And that's a good tip that I always give to people as well, or if someone is nervous for a shoot in the studio. Obviously, you have to sort of make exceptions. Obviously, you have to sort of make exceptions if you're recording audio, but having some music in the background while you're creating content just to relax you, get you in the mood, rather than it being this really rigid, stressful experience, try and just bring the tempo down a little bit and just enjoy it rather than it's so intense. But I can definitely imagine an entrepreneur or like going to like a big talk and just like blasting some like tunes as they're going there to hype themselves up, right? And I guess that's almost like why you have your walkout song when if you're doing a big talk,
that.
or like you're that wrestler that's coming into the ring like with your theme tune
Absolutely,
blaring.
yeah. But you see it, don't you? The public speakers at these big events where they go on, they have this song absolutely blasting out, and they're getting the crowd going. It's helping the audience, but it's helping the public speaker as well to
Have you
relax and
seen
get in that zone.
UK Office?
Yeah.
Brent, when he
Oh,
just
yeah.
simply the best as he walks
I've
out. Just remember, you're simply the best. That he walks.
Oh, I joked to mates about that. If I'm doing a bit of a talk, that that's the type of vibe I'll be going.
That's what you've got to go
yeah.
for. Like, I love that scene. It's so true. Like, it's really good. So something else that I've identified a lot in myself recently, and even that other people have now started to mention. And we spoke a little bit about it on our net running. You're a runner in the Swadlincote area. Join us last Friday of every month. Got it out there. They've got the plug out there. So a lot of people have been speaking to me recently. I've noticed in it myself recently quite a lot as well, is how much of an overthinker I am. And I thought that I was very much sort of used to be an overthinker, and I've sort of cracked it. And it's like, no, that's not me anymore. But then I've recently realised that I still am overthinking quite a lot. Just not necessarily about the things I used to overthink about, but now just different things. So I wondered if you had any techniques to help people just start managing overthinking.
Dan, these are really tough questions, aren't they? How much are you getting paid for this?
Brinking out, obviously, on the fly to you.
Yeah, no, that is a really good question. So I talked a little bit about it earlier. Typically, when our stress levels are a little bit higher than normal, that's when we'll tend to overthink a little bit more, because when we are stressed, it turns up the dial on our anxiety.
And I guess that's just like a byproduct of it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly that. Yeah. So literally, stress goes up, our anxiety goes up, overthinking goes up, negative thinking goes up. It's that primitive brain that sort of starts taking control and tries to protect us, and that's why it causes the negative thinking. So what we want to do is try and sort of take control of those stress levels, and there's numerous ways we can do that. We talked about singing, so put on your music, have a good sing along. But a strategy that we can put into place to just general help with our mindset and to promote positive thinking, and this is something I practice myself, so it works, and it's something I get my clients to do as well. And it's something that my clients say really does make a change when they carry out the task. And it's something that they look forward to. So that task is, each evening, write down 3 things that have been good that day. So it doesn't have to be big things. It can actually be really small things, and it's probably the small things that make the biggest difference. So it could be, we had a podcast today, Tom was a brilliant guest. It could be, had a great cup of tea. It could be, I met a stranger or said hello to a stranger. And just write that down. And as you write it down, just have a think why that made you feel good.
And I guess I think it's really true, because when you are super busy and super stressful, that's when you start forgetting about things.
Yep.
And often for me, the good things go in one ear and out the other. If someone says something nice to me, I've disregarded it, that it's... They must be talking bollocks. Like, they must be talking.
Whereas
like,
if they said something negative to you,
I would have
tuned into that. You're like, right, yeah, that's for me. That's for me. Yeah.
It's like, negative. Yeah, that's me.
Let's put that in Dan's database. Here, stored away. So there is neuroscience behind it. So it's not, woo-woo. So there's a part of the brain called the Reticular Activating System. So the more things we notice that are positive and make us feel good, the more value we will assign to those positive things. So we literally turn up the dial and say, right, these are important. Let's give these loads of value. And the negative things in our life, we turn the dial down on them. so they don't bother us so much. We won't think about them so much. So the problems are still there. They're not going to disappear. So it just doesn't bother us so much.
We're
so
just controlling it, right?
Yeah, exactly that. So we're essentially, by doing that simple task each evening, we're training the brain to be positive. So who doesn't want that?
I mean, that
I want
sounds
that.
great. It's definitely something that I think I could dedicate to, because at times where I've stressed myself out throughout the day, you're focusing on the bad things, then you go into bed thinking about the bad things anyway, right? What better way to round it off by actually thinking about the good,
Exactly
the good things
that.
for a
Yeah,
change?
exactly that. And by doing that, if you just, when you're writing it down, just have a little think of why it felt, have a little think of why it made you feel good, and you'll release some of those brain chemicals, your dopamine, your oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, as when you actually went through that event. So, and it'll just help you to guide you into a nice, relaxed sleep. So give it a try.
I definitely will. And I think...
I'll make sure you're doing it each evening. I'll check up on you.
Dan, have you done it yet? Dan, have you done it yet?
evidence.
Dan, have you done it yet? No, and I think a lot of people out there will benefit from hearing stuff like this, because I feel like we've gone into this conversation speaking about how can people be more visible in their business, right? But ultimately, these techniques are transferable to all different kinds of professionals, business owners, just the day-to-day business life, not just being visible. Like, these same techniques will help your life as a whole, which I think is really valuable. What I'm dying to know a little bit more about as well, and what some people at home, I imagine, will probably be dying to know at this point, is where does the hypnotherapy angle come into it, the hypnosis sort of angle come into your line of work?
That is another brilliant question as well. So it comes into play. So hypnotherapy is a combination of talking therapy, and I practice solution-focused hypnotherapy. So the talking therapies I use as CBT, NLP, and solution-focused brief therapy. I then use hypnosis, and that essentially just helps me take clients to their end goal a bit faster. We just accelerate that progress.
Brilliant.
And all what hypnosis is, it's trance. So it's where parts of our brain come together in focus, and we can start to dissolve and change some of these unwanted habits and thought patterns that we might have. You talked about this overthinking. We can look at dissolving and changing those thought patterns. But yeah, hypnosis, it's a natural state. We call it trance. So, when you drive in a regular route, and maybe when you drove here today and you're just in that zone, just turning, and you don't really know which route you took, you're in trance then.
Okay.
You were just in that you're in that focused state.
I guess it's almost I see that as going into like developer mode. Like, you're going into like edit mode, like that's kind of like you're in that concentration, that focus, meditative state where you can really start, I guess, like working at yourself, because you're focusing on one specific thing, right? Whether it's like focusing about nothing. Something, does that make sense? Like,
It does,
those lines.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so I was going to say something then. But yeah, so hypnosis, you sort of touch upon it there. We can look at it as sort of we're just playing around with your operating system. So imagine your laptop, and we're just changing and upgrading some of the programs, or changing the programs on your operating system.
I think that's a really good way of putting it. And I think, because a lot of people, I imagine you get this quite a lot, is that when hypnotherapy is mentioned, there's so much like sort of stigma and concerns around it that people just don't know about. What's sort of the biggest question that you tend to get asked about hypnotherapy?
One of the biggest questions is, will I lose control? I'm scared of losing control. And that's where I just have to say, and I'll say it to the camera, hypnotherapy is not mind control. So no, I wish if I could take control of people's minds. I don't know, actually, should I be saying that? Don't know.
Well, it'll be fun, won't it?
That's it, yeah. But no, it's not. Yeah, so that is the biggest sort of question I get, and probably the biggest myth out there, that it is still mind control, because we've seen stage hypnosis where people have been made to, dance like a chicken. So Dan, do you want to dance like a chicken? We can try it.
I mean, if you catch me on a Saturday night, usually we're doing that anyway.
Well, this is it, yeah.
So,
and that's
can stuff like that happen then, or is that just complete myth? That's just...
it is complete myth, yeah.
Yeah.
So the stage hypnosis, the hypnotist will do the sort of pre-show checks where they will go around the audience and see who is suggestible. And it basically, who is up for a laugh?
Yeah, who's
because
up
you
for
know
it?
somebody in the crowd is going to be up for a laugh and will jump up on stage and act like a complete prat.
Yeah.
You know, probably me. I probably would have been one of those people that would have got up on stage and done it. But yeah, it was on about if you go to a rugby club and say to somebody, I will pay you 10 quid to run outside, take your clothes off and run round the block, they will do it. And it's the same with the stage hypnotist. You know, they will just find those people who are up for a laugh and do that.
So and I think it's important that people know the difference and know the truth, because that could be a simple barrier to someone really getting help and actually giving them a helping hand, right? And I really appreciate you running through today and sort of shedding light on those simple practical techniques to actually genuinely improve your life, like not just get in front of the camera. I'm definitely going to be singing more in the car on the way home. I definitely know that for sure.
I look forward to that, Dan. I look forward
I'll be
to that.
sending you clips later.
Yeah. What song are you going to go for?
Well, it's my birthday tomorrow, so I'll actually probably be singing Happy Birthday.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because after this, I'll be like, I'm done. It's my birthday. I can chill
That's
out
it, yeah.
tomorrow. So I might
That's it.
stick that on, actually. That might be my little track.
Good.
But this is the important part of the podcast. Some people are scared of it. Some people embrace it. But it's the Ask the Expert quiz.
What? You didn't tell me about this? What? I can't believe.
I swear I didn't ambush
No.
you. So for people at home who don't know what Ask the Expert is, I'm going to ask Tom 20 questions. Probably not going to have to answer all 20 because you've only got a minute to answer them. We're going to see how many you get right. And then Tom's going to ask me 20 questions back. And it's all going to be based on his chosen subject. And I say his chosen subject. It's my chosen subject that I've chosen for him, but it's his specialist subject. It's going to be about hypnotherapy and mindset. So you've already got off to a great start because we've already know that I'm an overthinker, so my mindset isn't great. So let's just see how we go. I'm sure you do great.
What's the prize for the winner?
The prize is the knowledge that you have beaten the other person in this activity.
I'll take that.
Which translates to a pat on the back.
Cheers.
So we're going to use Karen today. So Karen's in the studio. So Karen, do you want to come on over for us and be our independent adjudicator? Your job today is to basically set a 1 minute timer on your phone and let us know when it goes off.
20 questions.
This is all powered by AI. So basically, I've banged it into ChatGPT and I've got it to just spit out the answers. So some of the questions might be gobbledygook. Some of the answers might repeat themselves, but it's just, it's a bit of fun anyway.
You've not looked at the answers for your set of questions?
Not looked at
Okay.
it. I've just literally
I believe
copied
that.
and pasted it in. So I have no idea. So the first set, I'm reading out to you first. And then I'll scroll down, I'll give you the phone, and then you can read it out.
Yeah.
So, Karen's ready on the
Ready.
timer. Tom, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's go. What is hypnotherapy most commonly used for in modern practice?
Stress and anxiety.
Perfect. What is the subconscious mind usually described as?
The primitive mind.
Yes. In simple terms, what is hypnosis?
A trance-like relaxed state.
Yeah. True or false? You can get stuck in hypnosis.
No. False. What am I doing?
What is a common misconception about hypnosis from stage shows?
You can lose control and someone can make you dance like a chicken.
Correct. What is suggestibility in hypnotherapy?
It's how willing you are to take the hypnotherapist's suggestion. So, confidence. You'll feel more confident.
Yeah. How responsive is here? That sounds good. What is CBT stands for?
Cognitive behavioural therapy.
What is a trigger in mindset and mental health terms?
A trigger. Pass.
Something that sparks an emotional or behavioural response.
Oh,
You
you
did.
wasted my time. We got
Redo it. No, you did really well there. Like, obviously, no one ever gets all 20 questions.
Yeah.
You've only got a minute, but you were firing through them. I asked you 8 questions.
Hey, that's all right.
I asked you 8. You got 7 right. So pretty much
That's all right,
over
isn't it?
90% right.
That's all right.
Now we're going to see the true shocking behaviour.
What,
the true shocking.
What AI
outcome.
did you use?
This is
Is it?
ChatGPT, yeah. All powered by ChatGPT.
So,
So now Tom's going to ask me another set of questions, and we're going to see how well that I do. So Karen, 1 minute if you please.
Ready, go.
what is rapport in a therapy setting?
Getting to know somebody more.
Nah, no. Trust and a positive connection between practitioner and client.
Okay, yeah.
What is reframing?
Possibly rethinking of a situation a different way.
Yeah, I'll say that's right.
Yeah.
What is a panic attack?
An overwhelming sense of panic.
I'll give you that, yeah. So it's a sudden surge of intense fear.
Okay, cool.
True or false? Hypnotherapy works best when someone wants to change.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Well done. What is anchoring in mindset techniques?
Maybe pass.
It's a feeling of calm, you can sort of touch your finger and that
okay.
brings a sense of calm. What does mindfulness focus on?
Positivity?
Present moment awareness without judgment. That's tough. What is...
I think I did okay.
You did good there, yeah.
How many was that joke?
They were tough questions. You give me the easy questions.
This always happens. I always end up getting the hard ones.
What is rapport? Yeah, because I would have rapport. Yeah, it's
I was thinking like sales rapport. That's what I went to straight away. Thinking like how can
reframing. Yeah, that was tough. Yeah.
How many did I get out of that one?
I've got to say, you give you 1, 2, 3. I'd say I give you 4.
Yes. I think that was definitely the best I've done.
Yeah.
Over the past few episodes, I have a web developer on
those questions. I didn't embarrass him. Oh my God.
I have a web developer on recently, and half the questions were so technical, went straight over my head.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, touch subjects like that. If you would have asked me some of the IT questions around files and stuff, you'd have probably been like,
what? Yeah. But no, that it's always a good bit of fun. But thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I really appreciate the tangible, practical advice you're giving us, and I know so many people out there are really going to benefit from it. Is there any final message you want to give out there to the audience before you sign off?
I want to say thank you to you, Dan. It's been a pleasure being here today. Just want to say to everybody out there, if you are struggling with anything, just reach out to your friends, family, just make them aware. I know it can be tough at times, but just, reach out to somebody and I can guarantee it make you feel a little bit calmer and a little better.
Definitely. Problem shared is a problem halved.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on, Tom. And as always, all of his information and my information is going to be in the episode description below. Reach out to us on LinkedIn. We always want to take the conversation there and speak to you guys and keep sort of the conversation alive. Thank you so much again, Tom, for coming on. And thank you so much for you guys for listening at home. I'll see you all next time. Bye.